So a lot of you know that I typically don't work from a script, which can be dangerous. But tonight I'm going to work from a script, just because I'm respecting all of you and your time. And quite frankly, the enormity of this task, the opportunity that I have this evening to represent the work of so many on our campus feels overwhelming. As someone who has been here at the University of Iowa, as President Harold said, over a year, I've had the opportunity to engage with our student community and certainly with our faculty and staff and local community. But the opportunity that was presented to me to serve as the interim Chief Diversity Officer, I'm not sure that I knew exactly what I was getting into, right? And I say that with a lot of affection and respect, because what I've learned since May of 2018 about the University of Iowa's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion is pretty tremendous. And what makes it so critical and important and impressive are the number of people that are working actively every single day to further our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. We also have, and I've encountered a number of folks that say, I want to be on board, I just have a lot more to learn. And that to me is as important as the person who says, I've been doing this work for years and I'm ready to continue. The eagerness, the passion, and the willingness to get in and understand, to understand yourself, to understand the needs of our campus community, but more importantly, to be willing to take the risk of being vulnerable and sharing that there are still areas of opportunity for growth. One of my faculty members used to say, Melissa, you have several growing edges. And I thought, that doesn't sound positive. And it wasn't. But however, that statement to me challenged me. It challenged me to always be willing to sit back and think about what I don't know, to be honest about what I don't know, but very willing to learn it and to lean on other folks. President Harold mentioned his focus and commitment to working with teams, and that he didn't want to go into that conversation this afternoon. However, it was already in my notes, is to talk about the importance of teams. And as I have the pleasure, truly the distinct pleasure, to stand before all of you this afternoon, everything that I'm sharing has been done in teams. There is not one initiative or program or service or feeling that is of one single person. And so I want to be really honest and candid about the fact that I am representing all of you as I'm sharing this information. And I take no credit for all of the work. I give all of the credit to you all who have taken this task on, who have remained committed, and who want to continue to support the University of Iowa as we move forward in our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. It is truly a pleasure, I have a heavy dose of humility and a huge debt of gratitude that I have the opportunity to stand before all of you today to share our updates, our collaborative updates on diversity, equity, and inclusion. In all we do at the University of Iowa, I think that we strive to be thoughtful and inclusive in our approach, certainly collaborative in our work, and we also maintain a very strong commitment to our strategic plan and priorities, regardless of any barriers, real or perceived, that may exist. Tonight's update is representative of our collective commitment to doing the hard work, asking the difficult questions, and aligning plans and actions that embody who we are, and in some areas, who we would want to be at the University of Iowa. I cannot go further into this presentation without acknowledging a large group of folks, so please be patient as I do this. But it's incredibly important to me to make sure the folks who are in it and are doing it every day receive the appropriate acknowledgement. First and foremost, President Harrell, thank you for the opportunity to serve in this interim role. I'm not sure that you knew exactly what you were going to get, so you're welcome. Also, Sarah Brooke, Diane Finnerty. I don't know that I even have words for the many ways that we've had the opportunity to work together since May of 2018, but I am so incredibly grateful for you all and being in partnership with you. Kevin Craigle, Cheryl Reardon, from the perspective of human resources and the focus on staff. I'm going to talk about the work that Cheryl and her team are doing related to the talent at Iowa. The CDO staff. If you all please would mind raising your hands, if appropriate, if you're representing any of the units that make up the Chief Diversity Office. They acquired me as their interim Chief Diversity Officer, and we have had what I hope is a really good time in getting in and doing the work, but I've also been incredibly impressed by their commitment and dedication to the work here at Iowa. The DEI Action Plan Development Committee, the Charter Committee on Diversity, all of the different diversity councils, many of the faculty and staff that I have not had the opportunity to name directly. Matt Anson with assessment, you'll see his magic as it relates to the by the numbers. I would also say Colleen Scholler, who works in marketing and design, and Aaron Fitzgerald, who have had probably 13 drafts of this slide deck, and they were smiling every time they brought it to me, and then I'm sure angry as they were walking away. Brett Goethe and his support as well, and so many others to help make sure that tonight hopefully goes off without a hitch. The only thing that they can't control for is me, so I'm going to do my best to remain in line. Since I took this role in May of 18, I've been keeping notes that remind me of the various initiatives and programs and changes that have happened here at the University of Iowa. And I want to take just a few minutes to share some of those with all of you. Just recently, UIHC was rated 24th in terms of best employers for diversity by Forbes. That's a very impressive recognition. The University of Iowa was awarded 4 of 5 stars for LGBTQ friendliness in the state of Iowa. That is also something that we should be incredibly proud of. I want to comment on the work of University of Iowa student government. They have taken a really proactive approach in wanting to look at the membership of their Senate and the groups and the individuals that make up the UISG, because they want to make sure that the folks that are a part of UISG are representative of our campus community, and I want to applaud them for taking that really big step. I also want to recognize the students. I think it was Jacob and Lillian during their tenure that started the Hawkeye Completion Grant. That work is continuing, and we are making a difference for students who have encountered financial challenges on our campus. I think it's really incredible that we have the Pride Luncheon, which is a wonderful way for us to all get together and really celebrate the LGBT community, both on our campus and certainly within Iowa City. The Hawkeye Meal Share program, where we are talking about students who may have encountered challenges with obtaining food or resources. And now we have a program on our campus where students can donate their meal swipes for Hawkeyes who might be in need. That's a very important aspect of diversity that oftentimes we forget about. We're also having active conversations about the transition or the move of student disability services from the bottom floor of Burge. That is a very important move for us as a campus, and certainly will demonstrate, again, our continued commitment to diversity and inclusion, and maybe more importantly, accessibility. Our cultural centers continue to thrive. We have 4 amazing coordinators who engage with our students every single day to ensure that they are feeling a part of our campus community, and if they're not, find ways to get them connected. The Trans Inclusivity Task Force and their work on the TransWorks faculty and staff resource, incredible. UI Lecture Committee, I was so impressed by the diverse speakers that the UI Lecture Committee provided us at the University of Iowa. There were speakers where I may have disagreed with their points of view, but guess what? On a campus like this one, and an institution of higher education, that's exactly what we're supposed to do, is invite and engage in civil discourse every single day. I walked away from those opportunities challenged, but also encouraged to continue to learn more. Those are the kinds of initiatives, and that's just a smattering of the few of those that are happening on our campus. This afternoon, I learned that Chi Omega sorority and Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity have the 2 highest GPAs in the fraternity and sorority community from fall of 2018. What that also reminds us is that our students are getting it done in the classroom and also their involvement in social activities on our campus. During the 2018 address, Dr. Lena Hill, the former interim chief diversity officer, outlined 4 key priorities for 2018 and 2019. Improving the campus climate, increasing retention and graduation rates of historically marginalized students, strengthening the recruitment and retention of underrepresented faculty, and enhancing communication of the UI's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Tonight, I am excited to provide you with a progress report on those priorities, as well as the addition of an additional priority and focus area: increasing assessment and evaluation of programs, services, and initiatives. The advanced use of data and creation of formal DEI metrics will allow us to better understand goals, ensure a strong commitment to compliance, generate data-informed decisions, and identify success factors and outline accountability measures to accomplish our goals. Additionally, we had a very strong focus on the recruitment and retention of faculty, and this year I would like to include a focus on staff. As many of you know, the students here on our campus interact with our staff in many different ways, and they are oftentimes sharing with me the importance of representation. We are fortunate that HR here at Iowa has been working on this for a very long time, and we are beginning to see some of the fruits of their labor. And I think it's important that we have an opportunity to talk about the importance of staff here at the University of Iowa. So first, I will talk about improving the campus climate. Many of you, if you were here last year, you heard Dr. Hill talk very specifically about a paradigm shift, a shift from focusing solely on diversity to moving toward diversity, equity, and inclusion. This shift in paradigm can't just exist by adding a couple of letters. It's going to require very intentional and thoughtful actions, and it's going to change the way that we think about diversity, equity, and inclusion. We will no longer be able to sit on the sidelines and say, that's their job. This work is the responsibility of every single person who is a part of this community. The Chief Diversity Officer has the opportunity and the responsibility of helping to guide, but the work actually happens through and with all of you. So just to rehash from last year, the diversity, equity, and inclusion definitions. They are there on the screen, but I'd like to share with you an idea from Verna Myers, who is the VP of Inclusion Strategy for Netflix. And what she says about diversity is about being invited to the party. Equity, this is what Melissa says, so I'm jumping in and out, Verna, Melissa. Equity is about ensuring those that are invited to the party have access and a means to get there. Verna says that inclusion is being asked to dance at the party. Those are very different, and they are going to require us to think about those in every step of the way as we are trying to consider how do we truly embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. Many folks that I've had an opportunity to engage with have said, hey, I've heard about this transition to diversity, equity, and inclusion, but what does that mean? How will we do that? How can I learn how to make that transition? Well, boy, do I have something just for you. There is a DEI paradigm shift training that is being offered by Diane Finnerty and Sarah Brooke, and the dates are listed here. If you would, please reach out and contact them to engage in that very important conversation. You see that it's listed twice, but I can almost guarantee that we'll have other opportunities to continue this conversation around DEI and the shift and making sure that people feel empowered and knowledgeable in order to be able to do this work. So in order to be able to put the data to action, the UI will create and have its first DEI Action Plan. In terms of the DEI Action Plan, the DEI Action Plan will be rooted in our core principles outlined in the UI Strategic Plan for 2016 to 2021, and also aligned with current campus-wide DEI strategic priorities identified by the Path Forward DEI Committee to help foster synergies and prevent duplication of efforts. Next, the DEI Action Plan will also help to strengthen our current DEI initiatives. The plan will be informed by insights that are gleaned from interviews with central offices engaged in DEI work and mapping analysis of current DEI activities on campus, which will identify areas of campus strength as well as areas of opportunity. The DEI Action Plan will also provide the structure for units and colleges to follow, which will enhance university-wide coordination of central and collegiate initiatives. It will also be informed by the assessment of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The key findings from the Campus Climate Survey, which was administered to faculty, staff, and undergraduate and graduate students, and the insights and suggestions provided in the strategic listening sessions of those groups. Additionally, we will certainly utilize DEI research to help inform the action plan. And perhaps most importantly, it will be a collaborative process. It will be created with a development team that includes members of all stakeholder groups, administration, faculty, staff, and students, and represents key constituencies. The DEI data collection efforts, I want to tell you a bit more about those. So beginning in January to February of 2018, the UI DEI survey was administered to faculty and staff. We also conducted strategic listening sessions were convened in April of 2018. Undergraduate students participated in a survey, the CRU survey, that was also administered March through May of 2018. They also participated in strategic listening sessions, which were convened October through November of 2018. In terms of graduate students, graduate version of the CRU with matched DEI questions. The administration of that survey happened March through May of 2018, also with strategic listening sessions. And last but certainly not least, our professional students, post-grad trainees, and fellows will participate in the CRU survey that has the matched DEI questions, and that will occur February through March of 2019. Those strategic listening sessions have been planned for April of 2019. I share all of that information with you because I think it's important that you know that this plan will not just be a plan formed in a vacuum. It will be informed by research, both on campus, but also the higher education literature will help us to shape this plan. And we look forward to being able to share it with you on February 26, 2019. Additional details will be coming forward to you very, very soon. As a part of the DEI Action Plan, it was important for us to have a sense and understanding about what are the current activities that are happening across our campus. And so in partnership, the Chief Diversity Office, in partnership with the Provost Office, began working on what we call the DEI Digest Project. And I imagine that many of you may have had the opportunity to participate. And the 4 primary reasons and the purpose of the digest is to understand what colleges and units are doing to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion, what are our areas of strength and what are we lacking. Based on the higher ed literature, what should we do to build upon past efforts and strengthen our efforts for the future. We will include information from the digest will be a part of the DEI Action Plan. To date, we have received over 750 submissions. That is representative, and I'm sure that's not everything that's occurring, but that again is a great example of the ways that we are working on diversity, equity, and inclusion at the University of Iowa. Another effort to continue to work on the climate is being able to hire somebody who can do this job full-time. How about that? So we are so fortunate to have Drs. Liz Tovar and Claire Fox, who are serving as the chair of the Associate Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion Search Committee. There's a large group of search committee members and also an advisory committee that have been working really hard during the fall semester to help and bring and identify thought leaders, talented thought leaders, to our campus for consideration as our next AVP for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I imagine that many of you are saying, now wait a minute, you've said that you're the Chief Diversity Office and that you are the Chief Diversity Officer. However, through the process of the search committee, really thinking about what type of leader do we want, and also considering our paradigm shift, it was important that both the position and the office and the units that comprise the Chief Diversity Office are also in alignment. And so the title of Associate Vice President for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion was adopted. You will also recognize that the Chief Diversity Office name will change to Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. What we believe is that this is a reflection of the national trends for similar positions across the country. It also helps us to build a more inclusive and coordinated effort across colleges, and it certainly emphasizes the needs of faculty and staff. The committee has expressed the importance of identifying someone who will be a transformational leader, that they will have opportunities to continue focusing on recruitment and retention. They'll be able to evaluate and proactively address the challenges and the opportunities that are a part of our current campus culture. They will advocate for students of diverse backgrounds, identities, and experiences, and facilitate a coordinated campus effort toward diversity, equity, and inclusion. The timeline for the search, fall semester, they engage with scoping meetings, review the job description and timeline and position title, recruitment, and review of initial candidate pool. Where we are for the spring semester of 2019, we're scheduled to have first round of interviews in February, and they'll be narrowing the pool to finalists in March of 2019. And the hope is that our new DEI leader will be able to join us late spring or early summer. So we are very excited about being able to identify someone who is as passionate and is excited about diversity, equity, and inclusion as we are here at the University of Iowa. The next priority was increasing retention and graduation rates of historically marginalized students. What we understand, particularly for the students who are here at the University of Iowa, is that it's really important that they're able to interact with folks that are like them and to be able to know that there are others around them that believe in and understand what it is they may be going through. So what I want to share with you now are sort of the by the numbers in terms of where we are on our campus as it relates to both graduation and also enrollment numbers for our undergraduate and graduate students. The current UI student enrollment by ethnicity for fall of 2018. African American or Black, 974. Alaskan Native or American Indian, 57. Asian American, 1,452. Hispanic or Latina, 2,256. International, 3,056. Individuals who identify with 2 or more races, 1,309. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 24. And white non-Hispanic or unknown, 23,820, which suggests that we have a total student enrollment of 32,948 students on our campus. I want to further highlight the undergraduate student 4-year graduation rate by race, ethnicity, and international student status for entering fall cohorts 2006 to 2014. Iowa has seen the most dramatic increase of graduation rates for URM students over the past 8 cohorts. The gap between URM and white students has narrowed from a difference of 20% to 8%. However, the graduation rates for URM students continues to lag behind their white and Asian peers, negative 8.6 and negative 14% respectively. In terms of the undergraduate student 4-year graduation rate by URM racial ethnic groups for entering fall cohorts 2006 to 2014, graduation rates over the past 10 years for all students have improved. There is more variation in the grad rates for Pacific Islander and American Indian students, primarily because those populations comprise a relatively small proportion of our URM students. If we examine Iowa's proportionately larger URM populations, we will notice an upward trend in graduation rates, a fairly dramatic increase for the past 8 cohorts. African American increase has been 11.6%, and Latinx increase 15.6%. Next, you'll see the undergraduate student enrollment by race, ethnicity, and international student status. Over the past 10 years, URM students have become a greater proportion of the undergraduate student body as a whole, peaking in 2017 at 11% of the undergraduate population. During this time frame, the proportion of URM undergraduate students has nearly doubled from 5.6% to 10.9%. Additionally, over the past 10 years, international student enrollment has more than tripled, peaking in 2015 at 11.1% of the undergraduate population and decreasing slightly by 3.4%. In terms of our graduate student enrollment by race, ethnicity, and international student status, while we have seen growth in the proportion of 2.3% of graduate students who identify as underrepresented minority enrollment at Iowa, URM students still make up less than 10% of the graduate student population. In terms of graduate student enrollment by URM racial ethnic group, between 2008 and 2018, when we specifically examine URM students, we will notice that much of the URM growth has been driven by the Latinx population. Over the past 10 years, the Latinx population has almost doubled, 2.2% growth. You will notice here that there's been a steady growth in our URM population, our URM student population. In 2014, undergraduate students were 11.1%. And FY 2019, percent of underrepresented minority was 14.2%. For graduate students, FY 2014, was 8.6%. And in FY19, for underrepresented minority graduate students, 13.6%. I'm going to speak soon about the faculty and staff numbers, in case you're curious. I think it's important to share with you a note that I saw actually on Facebook, and I reached out to the student who had included this, and it just reiterates the importance of representation. The student wrote, "Wowza, my heart is exploding with happiness because of how excited I am for my classes this semester for one major reason: diversity. Most, if not all, had great diversity of ages, races, majors, genders, and backgrounds. I'm looking forward to engaging in classroom discussions where I know there will be a variety of perspectives and representation about important topics. Wow, I'm excited." And 3 really happy emoji faces, which is wonderful. And I did reach out to her to ensure that it was okay that I shared her quote. She completely agreed. Alexia, thank you. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the Iowa Edge program. And the Iowa Edge program is an orientation program that takes place the week before fall classes start to assist African American, American Indian, Asian American, Alaskan Native, Pacific Islander, Latino, Latina, and first-generation college students in their successful transition to the University of Iowa. In order to foster transformative learning and leadership experiences among a diverse group of students to aid in the advancement of students' educational aspirations and also their career success. For the Iowa Edge 2018 report, you will note that we have 60% of the population that participated in Iowa Edge were first generation. Non-first generation students were 39.85% of the 133 participants. I think it's really cool to see that 13 states were represented, 9 Storm Lake scholars, and 83 students were from Iowa. In addition, in terms of some of the surveys and the responses to the surveys, what our students shared is that 96% would recommend participating in the Iowa Edge program. 98% stated that their peer leader had a positive impact on their experience, and 97% have since made use of the academic support services they learned about during the Iowa Edge program. And what may be one of the most important statistics is that 100% of those students said that they thought Iowa Edge was helpful in making the transition from high school to the University of Iowa. A couple of other quotes from students: "I would recommend this program to anyone who is a first year attending the University of Iowa. It was a great way to meet people and build a community before school. I feel like being a part of the Iowa Edge gave us a huge advantage over those who weren't. Even before classes began, Edge students were already exposed to all the available resources on campus, had connections with one another, and had a better college transition overall." In 2018, fall of 2018, the University of Iowa became a member of the American Talent Initiative. There are 108 institutions that are a part of the American Talent Initiative, and the goal of that initiative is to enroll and graduate 50,000 more high-achieving, low-income students by 2025. There are 4 key focus areas: increase need-based aid, close achievement gaps between low-income and high-income students, ensure that low-income students enroll, feel a sense of belonging and connection, and are retained, engage in robust outreach to eligible students. Iowa has already submitted our initial plan, which includes increasing need-based and connecting students to on-campus mentored student employment, and also continuing course transformation of high-stakes gateway courses. I want to thank Sarah Hansen and Mira Anson for really leading that group, and we have an interdisciplinary committee of folks from all over campus that are helping to make sure that we are able to support the American Talent Initiative by enrolling and graduating 50,000 more high-achieving, low-income students by 2025. The next priority is strengthening the recruitment and retention of underrepresented faculty and staff. Now I have the wonderful opportunity to talk about the incredible initiatives out of the Office of the Provost. Kevin Craigle has said, the higher education literature is clear that a diverse, equitable, and inclusive campus is inextricably linked to academic excellence. The Office of the Provost is committed to advancing faculty diversity in partnership with academic units and minoritized faculty, and we look forward to implementing research-informed strategies to make real progress at the University of Iowa. Here, you can see that the university has made some strides in increasing the number of underrepresented staff, minority staff. The least growth in the past 5 years was in URM faculty. In FY14, in terms of staff, we were at 5.8%. In FY 2019, we were up to 7.6%. In FY14, as it relates to faculty, we were at 6.9%. In 2019, we are at 7.6%. What we believe and recognize is that representation matters. And where we are right now as it relates to our faculty and staff numbers, I don't think anyone would suggest that we are comfortable in that place. But what I'm preparing to share with you next are some of the incredible initiatives that are being sponsored and co-sponsored through the Office of the Provost, the Chief Diversity Office, and particularly for the Distinction Through Diversity, our partnership with Intercollegiate Athletics. The Distinction Through Diversity is a 3-year pilot project that began in July of 18, and it's funded by the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics, Office of the Provost, and the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It provides supplemental support recruitment and retention of outstanding tenured to tenure-track faculty in undergraduate serving departments who will further UI's goals to advance its academic mission through the recruitment and retention of underrepresented U.S. racial ethnic minority faculty and students. To date, the Distinction Fund has facilitated the hiring or retention of 3 URM faculty members. Next, the Office of the Provost Faculty DEI Strategies. The Office of the Provost is committed to implementing comprehensive data-informed strategies to diversify the faculty. It is not enough to recruit, we must also focus on retaining and advancing a diverse faculty. The office is continuing its existing programs like the Dual Academic Career Fund and the Faculty Search Committee trainings and resources, but it is increasing its efforts to support departments in recruiting, retaining, and advancing a diverse and excellent faculty. The office is launching several new initiatives this year, which can be found on the one-page overview, including the Distinction Through Diversity Faculty Recruitment and Retention Fund. Next, the Diversity Resource Team continues to offer some amazing build workshops and now also coaching opportunities. These are structured, non-judgmental, motivational resource that allows individuals to work one-on-one with a trained diversity resources member. Participants will be able to take part in up to 3 45-minute sessions, and anyone that's currently enrolled in the Build Certificate program is able to access the coaching program. If you are new to Build or are considering participating, we encourage completing the program with a coach. This is another way for us to gain skills and knowledge about ways to create community within our departments and our student community. One of the ways that we did that was the Building Community and Connection, the Faculty and Staff of Color Welcome Reception that was held on August 16th, 2018. We are planning to host another of those Faculty and Staff of Color receptions in March of 2018. I look forward to sharing that information with you soon. Additionally, the Equal Opportunity and Diversity Office is relaunching their Recruitment Ambassador program. The program is designed to enhance the university's ability to recruit diverse applicants. Recruitment ambassadors are faculty and staff members who volunteer to help recruit prospective employees and act as liaisons between candidates and the university. Applications and nominations for the program are available on February 5th. And actually what I learned right before I came up to the podium is that it is ready now. And you can visit the Office of Equal Opportunity and Diversity website for more information. And I would encourage you all to do so. I've had a number of opportunities to be able to connect with potential or prospective faculty and staff who are considering the University of Iowa, and they're really interested in learning more about the community that they are considering joining. And that is something that we have an opportunity to help shape and define for them. Next, I want to talk briefly about the HR roadmap. This is a really important process that the University Human Resources Office and then many colleagues campus-wide have worked to build on the talent at Iowa. So this particular conversation today is really going to highlight some of the initiatives and work that's happening through the Talent at Iowa process and certainly the groups that represent. There's an HR roadmap. This evolving resource provides an at-a-glance summary of goals, unit responsibilities, and status of key projects and priorities. The Talent at Iowa Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, there is a committee who is working really hard to research and propose strategies and tools to acquire, promote, and retain diverse faculty and staff. There are also a number of other areas of focus. Human Resources actually has a focus, 6 principles. The first is treat DEI as a business critical. Second is moving beyond diversity to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The third is to prioritize leadership. And they want to do this by creating an inclusive DEI culture. Some of the accomplishments through that prioritizing of leadership are the leadership development programs. Departmental Executive Officer Development Program, Office of the Provost Partnership, Executive Leadership Academy, and then also the UI Lead Program. The fourth principle is to embed DEI into all talent practices. Fifth is to provide resources that empower individuals to take action. And sixth is to drive accountability, not solely metrics tracking. All of these efforts are in collaboration with so many campus partners, and we would be unable to do the work that we're doing on our campus without partnerships. Next is the DEI priority of enhancing communication of the UI's diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. I hope that you all have received the Diversity at Iowa magazine. And it is a beautiful compilation of UI stories about students, faculty, and staff, and the unique contributions that they are making here at the University of Iowa. There's also information on the CDO website in terms of trainings and lots of the good work that's happening on our campus. And last but certainly not least, the DEI priority focused on increasing assessment and evaluation of programs, services, and initiatives. In February of 2019, in an effort to ensure that we are, as a Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, are in alignment with the university's goals, as well as making sure that our programs and services are meeting our needs, we'll participate in an external program review. In that program review, we will ask individuals to focus on the mission, vision, and goals, structure and alignment, climate, and also organizational leadership. The departments have been asked to conduct a self-study that we will share with the external review team members to provide content and context for the reviewers to understand the current work of the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and those external reviewers will provide a level of expertise and be able to engage with various stakeholders across campus. So many, if not all of you, will receive an invitation to participate in this program review process. This is one of those areas where you want to make sure that you are doing the absolute best work that you can be doing. It's also critical for us to be able to understand if there are opportunities for growth. And as we transition to diversity, equity, and inclusion, my belief is that the program review will provide us with some inside knowledge about areas that we can continue to focus on. I want to conclude by thanking everyone for your efforts. I will say that these efforts will be challenging. They will also be inspiring, and they will be difficult. And we will have times where we will absolutely mess up. However, what I believe is critical is that we are able to maintain our commitment, educate others as to our why, and think critically about our work, that we can and will be a better campus. But the key is for doing it together. Thank you all so much.